creating first application in HTML. We have 3 steps, that is install, create and run. First, you require to install the code editor such as Visual Studio Code or Sublime Text or Atom. In this course, I prefer using Visual Studio Code because it is easy, portable, simple and highly customizable and also easy to use. And you have to install at least one browser such as Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. Or you can install both of these browsers in order to test your web page in both of the browsers. Of course, by default in Windows 10, you will get Microsoft Edge, and in case of Mac machine, you will get Safari browser, so that you can use those browsers also. And then you require to create the HTML program in the code editor and save the file with the .html file extension in a specific folder. For example, we have to save the HTML file in C:\web folder. And then you require to run the HTML program by double-clicking on the HTML file in the particular folder. Let me show the same practically. In order to install the code editor, that is Visual Studio Code, open the website code.visualstudio.com and click on the download button. You will automatically get the file called VS Code Setup file and run the file and click on Run button. Select the radio button, I accept the agreement. Next. Select the option Add Open with Code in File menu and Directory Context menu because you can open the file or folder by right-clicking and selecting Open with Code. Click on Next and click on Install. It may take around 1 minute of time to install the Visual Studio Code. Now it is completed and click on Finish. Now Visual Studio Code has been opened. Next time you can open the same by going to Start, Visual Studio Code folder and clicking on Visual Studio Code. Now come back to Visual Studio Code, go to File menu, New File. In order to specify that we are using HTML5, add the document declaration, that is doctype HTML, which specifies that we are using HTML5, and then begin the HTML program by using the HTML tag. And at the end of the program, we have to close the HTML tag. And all the meta details about the web page, such as title, description, keywords, references to other files, should be inside the header tag. And all the actual visible content of the web page should be inside the body tag. Currently in the header tag, we are going to place some title. For example, the web page title is Home. And as a part of the course, we are going to create a mini project, that is a small application for India tourism. So I am going to create a heading called Welcome to India Tourism. And every time, whenever you are writing an inner tag, that means tag inside the tag, give a tab space or a single space, so that everyone can understand that one particular tag is a child of another parent tag. For example, H1 is a child of body, title is a child of head, head and body both are children of HTML tag. And the doc type HTML is a declaration, it is not a child of anyone. Now we require to save the program. So go to File menu, Save, or press the keyboard shortcut Ctrl S. Now in C drive, I have created a folder called Web, and I am going to save all the HTML files inside the same folder. At your practice time, you can choose any folder name, and you can place it in any drive, such as C drive or D drive or anywhere. But it is recommended to save all the HTML files in the same folder so that you can open the entire folder next time in Visual Studio Code easily. You can give any file name, for example home, but you must give the file extension, that is .html. So overall it is home.html. The file extension .html specifies that we are going to create HTML program. Earlier, in order to support oldest browsers or oldest servers, the people were giving .htm extension instead of .html because there were some servers which can recognize only 3 characters in the file extension. But nowadays, all the servers can identify long file extensions also, so there is no restriction of .htm. You can give the file extension .html also. Now click on Save. Now the home.html file has been saved in the folder called C:\web. The file path is shown when you place the mouse pointer on the title bar, that is C:\web home.html. And after saving with the .html file extension, you will get syntax highlighting. That means all the tags are highlighted with different color, and all the plain text remains black for easy identification. In order to execute the application, open the C:\web folder and double click on the HTML file, that is home.html. Now it opens the default browser, that is either Chrome or Firefox, and displays the visible content of the web page that is present inside the body tag. You can modify the content at any point of time. For example, I am adding the content, that is thank you. And after every modification, we have to save the file by pressing Ctrl S as keyboard shortcut. And then come back to the same browser, then click on refresh button to see the updated content. In case if you feel the text size is too small, you can press Ctrl+ in order to increase the zoom. So currently it is 133% zoom. In the further lessons, we will see how to increase the font size programmatically by using CSS. So in this lecture, successfully we have created first HTML application. We will do a lot of things in the further lectures. We will add headings, paragraphs, tables, forms, cards, icons, everything into the same project. So by the end of the course, surely you will have a meaningful application which includes all the essential features of a professional website. And this extreme level of knowledge of HTML, CSS, JavaScript and jQuery will make you reach to the next level in your career. And also this knowledge is helpful for all types of server-side developers such as PHP developers, Python developers, ASP.NET developers, Java developers, Node.js developers, etc. So I can't wait. Let me demonstrate all the features of HTML one by one, step by step. Let us understand headings and paragraphs in HTML5. While preparing documents, you require to keep the headings in different levels. HTML provides 6 levels of headings, that is H1 to H6. Heading 1 can be created using H1 tag. Heading 2 can be created using H2 tag. Heading 3 can be created using H3 tag. Heading 4 with H4. Heading 5 with H5. And heading 6 is created using H6 tag. The heading 1 appears in large size. Heading 2 is little smaller than heading 1. Heading 3 even smaller than H2. Heading 4 is little smaller than H3, etc. In your document, the top level headings should be heading 1. The secondary level of headings should be created as H2. Subheadings should be heading 3 and so on. And we also have P tag used to create the paragraph. The beginning point of P tag indicates the beginning point of the paragraph, and the end tag of the P tag indicates the ending point of the paragraph. You can create any number of headings and paragraphs in the document. Heading tags and paragraphs cannot be nested. That means inside one heading you cannot create another heading. In the same way, paragraph cannot be nested. That means inside a paragraph you cannot create another paragraph. When you try this, you may get output, but it is against the rules and purpose of the tag itself. And it is not correct to use headings inside the paragraph. So heading and paragraph always should be separated. That means after closing of the heading, you can create a paragraph, and after closing the paragraph, you can create another heading. In real websites, headings are important because Google-like search engines can understand the title of the document based on the headings. For example, in the first case we have 6 levels of headings. First one is heading 1, second one is heading 2, third one is heading 3 and so on up to heading 6. And in the second case, you have a heading followed by one paragraph, and again another heading in the same level with another paragraph and so on. By default, browsers display a margin, that means gap, for every heading and paragraph. So in the existing document that we have created in the last lecture, I am trying to create the headings and paragraphs. Already we have created heading 1, that is Welcome to India Tourism. The H1 tag specifies that the heading 1 starts here, and the end tag of H1 specifies that the heading 1 ends here. I am going to create the second level of heading, that is popular destinations. So inside the popular destinations, I would like to create some cities such as Goa, Kochi, Varanasi, and also Srinagar. So inside the destination called Goa, we have 3 headings, that is things to do and also day plans. And you will have same type of headings in every destination, that is every city. And under the heading of things to do, suppose we have 2 things, first one and second one. So as you can understand here, for every level we are using a sub-level of heading. For example, for city name Goa, we have used H3. And for things to do and day plans, we have used H4. For first one and second one, we have used H5. And by using heading 6, adding some description for the first one and also for second one. Assume inside the day plans also, we have first one and second one, so copy in the same for day plans also. And for every city, you will have things to do and day plans, so keep in the same for all the cities. So that is for Kochi and for Varanasi and also for Srinagar. So the first heading is popular destinations. Now I am going to create another heading in the same level. Since it is the same level, we have to use equivalent heading, that is H2 for other heading also. So creating heading 2 for the heading Indian climate, which is equivalent to the heading of popular destinations. Under the heading of Indian climate, we have 4 headings. So using the same heading, that is H3 for all those 4 headings. That is summer, winter, rainy and spring. Now I would like to add some paragraph for every heading. So after winter, we have a paragraph, some paragraph. Adding another paragraph for winter, adding another paragraph for rainy, and also for spring. So these are the headings and paragraphs what we have created in this document. So we have fully utilized all levels of headings and paragraphs in this document. Now double click on the HTML file. So you can see all headings. Suppose Welcome to India Tourism is heading 1, Popular Destinations is heading 2, Goa is heading 3, Things to do is heading 4, First one is heading 5, About first one is heading 6. Since first one and second one are the equal level, I am using same level of heading, that is H5. Since things to do and day plans are the equal level, I am using same level of heading, that is H4. So in the same way, we have created all levels of headings for all the cities. And also, at last we can say the heading followed by the paragraph for each season. Now adding some content for the summer, adding some content for the winter, adding some content for rainy, and also for spring. So after refresh, you can see the paragraph content displayed in the page. As you can see, by default browsers display some space between every paragraph and every heading. That space is also called as margin. So successfully we have practiced all levels of headings and paragraphs in this example. Attributes of heading tags, that is H1 to H6. There are no attributes for heading tags. Attribute is a property that can be written inside the tag in order to describe how the tag has to be appear. Every tag contains its own set of attributes in order to customize output of that particular tag. Actually, the heading tags were having an attribute called align to specify horizontal alignment of the heading, such as left, center and right. But as per the specification of HTML5, the align attribute has been removed from heading tags. So it is no longer valid in heading tags as per HTML5. Alternatively, to specify the horizontal alignment, we have to use CSS. In the further lectures, we will apply the alignment of the text by using CSS. So overall, there are no attributes for heading tags. And in the same way for paragraph, no attributes. Earlier we were having align attribute for p tag also, and as per HTML5 the align attribute of p tag has been removed. This is all about headings and paragraphs in HTML. Using HR tag in HTML5. The HR tag used to create the horizontal ruler, that is horizontal line or separator line. HR tag is unpaired tag, so we should not write a closing tag for HR. It is used to separate the sections inside the document. For example, we have a heading and paragraph, and we have another heading and paragraph. In order to separate them, we use HR tag. HR tag can be used inside the body tag. Of course, the heading tags and paragraph tags also can be used inside the body, but not in head tag. For example, in our existing application, I would like to add a horizontal ruler for every city by using HR tag. So this is the information about the first city, that is Goa. So adding a horizontal ruler after the city information. HR is unpaired tag, so no need of writing /HR as ending tag. Refresh the web page. Now we can see a horizontal ruler after the city information of Goa. You can change color, thickness and margins of the horizontal ruler by using CSS, but not using HTML. Because all the aspects of beautification, including colors, margins, etc., will come under the boundary of CSS, because those are style aspects. Now in the same way, I would like to add horizontal rulers for all the cities. So after the Kochi details, I am adding another HR, and after completion of the details of Varanasi, I am adding another HR, and in the same way, if you come down, adding another HR tag for Srinagar. Now refresh the web page. As you can see, horizontal rulers added for every city in the document in order to separate the cities. This is how to use the HR tag in HTML. Attributes of HR tag. And there are no attributes for HR tag. Actually, there were some attributes such as BG color, width, etc. But as per the specification of HTML5, those attributes are removed. Alternatively, we have to use the CSS to change color or thickness of the horizontal ruler, but not HTML5, because the ultimate goal is HTML5 should stick to creating elements but not to styling them. All the style related activities should come under the boundary of CSS. Understanding div tag in HTML5. The div tag represents a division or part of the page. That means it represents a meaningful section or box inside the web page. That means you can assume the div tag as a box that contains some meaningful content. So what kind of content you can place inside the div? You can place any content or any amount of content inside the div tag. For example, you can place one or more headings and paragraphs inside the div. You can place some plain text. You can place one or more images inside the div. Or you can place another div inside the div. Yes, the div tags can be nested. That means in a larger div, you can place a smaller div. That means in a big box, you can place a small box. By default, the div tag acts as a container for one or more HTML tags. And by default, the div tag doesn't come with any default style. So even before adding the div tag and after adding the div tag, visually there will be no difference. But you can apply some CSS styles based on the div tag. Anyway, we will see the CSS styles in the further lectures. But div tag is the best example of block level tags. The meaning of block level tags is, it is a box by default. So the content of the div tag will be placed in a separate line. For example, inside the div you have placed the content hello. The text hello will be displayed in a separate line. So the div tag can be used inside the body and also can be nested. In a large web page, you can place any number of div tags, and you can place other div tags inside each div tag. Thus, you will form meaningful parts of the page which help the developers to separate each section of the web page. In this existing application, I would like to place each city in a separate div tag. So we have 4 cities here. So I am placing 4 div tags. Each div tag represents the content of one single city. So this is all the content of the first city, that is Goa. So I am going to place a div tag and I am going to cut all the content of the city and pasting it inside the div tag. And so we can remove the HR tag as we have placed the content inside a separate div. Save the program. And if you refresh the web page, there is no particular difference in the output. But internally, invisibly, this particular area of the content is independently identified by using the div tag, so that you can apply CSS style to the particular div tag. Anyway, we are going to understand the CSS styles in the next lecture. And in order to identify the particular div tag independently, we can add ID for the particular div. The ID can be anything, just like a variable name. For example, I am giving ID equal to Goa. You can give any ID in your application. In fact, not only for a div tag, you can apply ID for every HTML tag in order to individually identify it in CSS or JavaScript. So as of now, there is no difference in the output even after adding the ID. So I am going to add another div tag for Kochi with ID equal to Kochi, and placing all the content of Kochi inside the particular div. Now creating another div for Varanasi and placing all the content of Varanasi inside the particular div, and removing the HR tag, and creating another div tag for Srinagar, and I am going to place all the content of Srinagar inside the particular div. Now I want to place all the cities, that is all the popular destinations, inside another outer div, because the div tags can be nested. So inside the div tag called popular destinations, we are having small divs to represent each city. So outer div is popular destinations. Each of inner div tags are individual cities. So creating outer div, that is div ID equal to popular destinations, and placing all the content of popular destinations, including all cities, inside the div tag of popular destinations. So this is the closing of Srinagar div, and this is the closing of popular destinations div. Still there is no difference in the output, because only by placing div tag you will not get any difference in the output. By default, div tags are meant for separating the content into multiple sections, and you can bring visual difference in the output by applying some CSS styles to the div tags. Now I want to add the div tags for the Indian climate. I would like to place an outer div that represents entire Indian climate and want to place inner divs that represents each individual season. So placing an outer div with some ID, for example Indian climate, the IDs will not be displayed anywhere in the output. IDs are just for identification for the developer, but not for user. And creating another div for summer, then for winter, for rainy, and also for spring. Now placing the summer content in the respective div, then placing the winter content in the particular div. In order to format the document properly, in Visual Studio Code, the keyboard shortcut is Alt-Shift-F. Then all the tags will be properly aligned based on the tree structure. Now placing the content for rainy and also placing the content for spring. So this is how we create the content for Indian climate. The outer div represents the Indian climate. Inner divs represents the each individual season. Let's refresh the application. So visually there is no particular difference in the output, but we will beautify the same by using CSS in the further lectures. Attributes of div tag. There are no attributes for div. Earlier we were having an attribute called align, but that is removed as per HTML5 specification. So overall there are no attributes for a div tag, because the alignment, background color, border, margins, etc. should be applied by using CSS, but not by using HTML.